Fox 61 News at 6 starts now.
Right now at 6, a teen is recovering tonight after being shot by another teen. What police are saying as the investigation continues.
Plus, flames from a morning fire at a scrapyard causing environmental concerns for residents.
Biggest challenge is the metal pile. The fire is very deep in the pile.
Why crews had a hard time putting out the blaze.
And pain at the pump across the state as the gas tax holiday is set to expire soon.
Here we are in November expecting, dysfunctional Washington to come to the rescue. It's putting people in untenable positions, and these are people who need help.
Lawmakers on track for a special session to discuss an expansion.
Press for success in Burlington. It's prime cider season here, and we thought that's worthy of a day tripper. I'm Jim Altman. It's ahead on the Fox 61 News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us here on the news at 6. I'm Ben Goldman.
And I'm Jen Bernstein. A 15-year-old girl in critical but stable condition tonight after a shooting that happened in New Britain.
16-year-old boy charged in connection with the shooting that happened just before 6 o'clock last night.
Fox 61's DeAndrea Turner has been working to find out more details for us, and she joins us live now. DeAndrea.
Well, Ben and Jen, there are a lot more questions than there are answers right now. But what we do know is that the shooting happened around 5:45 last night in the second story of this walk-up unit. And police are searching to see if this shooting was accidental or if it was intentional. But while no one else was hurt, the unit below was also impacted.
I just found a bullet in my house.
Tatiana Young lives in the downstairs unit where a 15-year-old girl was shot by, police say, a 16-year-old boy. Tatiana says a bullet from that incident came through the ceiling of her apartment.
It was scary because I didn't know what was going on upstairs, and I didn't even really think something like that could happen up there. They seem like a picture-perfect family for the most part.
Not perfect Tuesday night, it seems. Police are still trying to piece together what exactly happened in the upstairs unit.
There was cops all over the place.
Police say they responded to the home around 5:45 Tuesday night for a report of a disturbance. That's when officers found the 15-year-old girl shot. Police say they arrested a 16-year-old boy on the scene and charged him with assault, reckless endangerment, and illegal discharge of a gun. Both teenagers going to New Britain High School. The New Britain School District also releasing a statement saying, in part, "We hold in our hearts the young person who was critically wounded and are offering counseling support for the family, students, and teachers who may need help processing this tragedy."
But this little area, nothing really happens for the most part.
But Tuesday night's shooting quite literally hitting too close to home.
I'm glad that we're okay. I can't speak for upstairs, but I hope they're okay too.
And you guys, we do know that that 16-year-old boy was transferred to Hartford Juvenile Detention Center. And as of right now, there are no other people that have been charged in this shooting. But if there is, we'll let you know on air and online. For now in New Britain, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61 News.
DeAndrea, keep us updated. Right now, conditions are calm and smoke has subsided since this morning after a scrapyard fire in Montville went up in flames.
Firefighters spending much of the morning and afternoon putting out the heavy flames and the smoke. Fox 61's Carmen Chow is in Montville with what officials are saying tonight.
My husband noticed the pile was really big the other day, and then lo and behold, we get the fire this morning.
Carrie Doherty lives on Pequot Road. She says this is the second time she has seen a massive fire at the scrapyard. The last one happening just 2 years ago, which took up to 6 hours to clear. The road closures causing quite a headache for school buses early in the morning.
The buses couldn't get the kids this morning, so mine stayed home because I couldn't get them there because of the hose. So I stayed home from work as well.
The fire marshal says it was around 6:15 this morning when his department received multiple 911 calls for the massive fire and smoke that traveled to East Lyme and Waterford. When firefighters arrived, they found the scrapyard pile, which was approximately 60 feet high, fully engulfed in flames. Up to 20 fire departments, including Rhode Island, helped in putting out the fire, but they were met by one big challenge.
There's hydrants close by, but right now we're using tanker operations more than anything. The biggest challenge is the metal pile. The fire is very deep in the pile.
Luckily, Barnes says no firefighters were injured. But what they are finding is because it is such a big pile, getting to the seat of it has been tough. Their moves being met with caution since there are propane tanks in that pile.
Car parts, automobiles, just the metal itself. So it's mostly petroleum.
The Department of Energy and Environmental Protection also on scene monitoring the water and air quality. The good news so far, there has been no elevated readings.
Make sure that everything in the atmosphere is safe for the people in and around the area so that we can confirm that they're in clean air.
The fire marshal says so far there is no word on what caused this fire, but because this is the second one in 2 years, they want to look into the root of what's causing all of these fires to make sure this doesn't happen for a third time in the near future. In Montville, Carmen Chow, Fox 61 News.
All right, Carmen, thank you. We want to turn to the weather now. No more snowflakes in sight across the state. A sunny and cold day today.
Say that again. Very cold. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us now. Cold and windy, Rach. Hi.
Yeah, and settle in to this weather pattern because it's going to be with us tomorrow, through the weekend, and all the way through, let's say, about half of next week before we can see temperatures climb above average again. 44 degrees in Hartford, temperatures in the upper 40s for the New Haven area, and upper 30s in Torrington, where we started off the day with a few slippery spots. It was also breezy, as Ben mentioned, winds out of the west gusting up to about 20 miles per hour, but that wind is starting to diminish through the evening tonight. It will come right back up again tomorrow, though. Overnight lows in the 20s to around 30 degrees, so a chilly start to the day tomorrow. We'll also begin the day mostly cloudy, but I think as we head through the middle of the day into the afternoon, we break for sunshine. It's breezy, high temperatures in the mid 40s, about 5 degrees below average for this time of year, and clear and chilly as we head into tomorrow night when we have a couple things you can see in the night sky. We'll talk about that full forecast and a look ahead to Thanksgiving week coming up.
Thank you, Rachel. Well, crews responded to a house fire early this morning in Middletown. The Westfield Fire Department responded to a home on Knox Boulevard around 4:30. Crews were able to quickly knock down the flames, but a family of 11 has been displaced from the home. No injuries were reported. The cause of the fire remains under the investigation.
We are learning new details tonight about a crash involving a bike in Guilford over the weekend. We now know the bicyclist was John Bysewicz, the brother of Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysewicz. John was taken to the hospital with severe injuries. There's no word yet on his condition. 30-year-old Neil Stom was identified as the driver of the car. He was arrested at his home for leaving that scene.
Drivers here in Connecticut could continue to see a tax break at the pump for a few more months.
State lawmakers on both sides of the aisle calling for a special legislative session to extend the state's current gas tax holiday, right now set to expire on December 1st.
Fox 61's political reporter Emma Wolfhorst spoke with legislative leaders and joins us now in studio with more. Emma.
Jen, Ben, the state's 25 cents per gallon retail levy on gas is currently suspended. This so-called gas tax holiday passed by the state legislature last session took effect April 1st. Now, just 2 weeks before it's set to expire, lawmakers pushing for a special session to extend this tax holiday.
There's no reason to drag feet. We need to do this, and we need to do it as soon as we can.
Senate and House minority leadership say they've been calling for a special session for months. In September, legislative Democrats expressed strong consideration for it, and this week, Governor Ned Lamont confirmed he's also in support.
I don't think we're going to have a cliff on the gas starting on December 1st. I think we ought to have a meeting, special session before that.
Tuesday, Lamont said his team is in talks with legislative leaders to hash out the details.
We just had preliminary conversations just to understand so they can prepare their members going forward for later in the week.
But Republican lawmakers tell me they haven't heard from anyone.
The majority and the governor's office hasn't reached out to us. From our perspective, I think this needed to happen already.
And Republicans don't just want to talk about the gas tax. They want the legislature to address home heating assistance, too.
Here we are in November expecting, dysfunctional Washington to come to the rescue. What we need is a plan that's going to protect these families that need our help.
When asked if just the gas tax holiday extension would be taken up in the special session, Lamont said,
I think that's right.
And there's no word yet on when this special session could take place, but in terms of a date, both Republicans and Democrats agree sooner is better. Ben?
Thank you. All new at 6, State Comptroller-elect Sean Scanlon is calling for increased funding for the Essential Worker Hero Pay program after an unprecedented number of people applied for it. The program projected $1,000 payouts for people making less than $100,000 a year. But the way the program's currently funding, each bonus will have to be prorated and would come out to just over $200 for most recipients. Scanlon says lawmakers need to find a way to give recipients the bonus that they originally promised.
They deserve it. We have no way of truly thanking the people that served in this hospital, that served as our police officers, our firefighters, our EMTs, our daycare workers. But this is a start, and this is the least that we can do.
It would cost the state $122 million to fully fund that program. The legislature will likely convene in the coming weeks to discuss it again.